Welcome to the Home Services Success Stories podcast powered by Peakzi, the number one AI platform for growing your home services business. And on the show today, we have Adam Bernd, who is the general manager at Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Adam, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. Excited to learn more about your background and the story behind us Summers. So let's kind of jump right in. So, Adam,
Okay.
you're the general manager for the business. Tell us a bit about your role and what you own on a daily basis.
Okay. So being a family-owned smaller company, people hear general manager or ownership or anything like that, and they typically think more off-site. But my business partner and I very much work in the business on a day-to-day basis. So typically on a morning, I'll come in, look at anything that came in after hours from the evening or early morning of some sort of emergency or something that came in, and start to kind of put that puzzle together and just try to make sure everybody's got what they need for the day. Typically debrief on anything that happened into the day before, or make sure everybody's on the same page for the plan of the day for whatever's happening that day, and make sure everybody's with the right people, and kind of just get everything going. And then from there through the second part of the day, just putting out fires, trying to order parts if need be, and I'll be delivery boy and go get something and bring it to somebody, whatever needs to take place in order to make the most of the day.
So very much hands-on in the business, being strategic and tactical, and very much in the business itself. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, well, give us a bit about the history because I know that you've been serving the the community for over 40 years. But you and your father, you sort of co-launched it back in 2014. So, what was the genesis story and the original vision back then?
Okay. Excellent question. So it's kind of a unique story, but so my dad did heating and air my whole life growing up and everything. So I always really held trades close to my heart because it was always, to me, it was just what my family did. It was all I ever knew. I did heating and air in and out of high school and stuff before I joined the Marine Corps. And then once I joined the Marine Corps, my father had let me know towards the end of I had a 6-year contract. So going into my 6th year, he had discussions with me about how the original plan was for me just to work with him. And so once the war was dying down and I'd done my Afghanistan deployments, I really didn't enjoy the peacetime Marine Corps as much because I really kind of joined I was Marine Corps infantry, so I joined for like the deployment and all that stuff. And so I was already kind of wanting to know what my next chapter was going to be anyways. And so my dad was talking about how he and his best friend were going to start a business. So we found a father and son business that had been in business since 1953, and they were looking to retire and just kind of get out of it. And so we really merged with them, took over the same building, same customer base, and just started basically taking over, but put a little bit of a new age spin to it. They were very much same customers. They'd have breakfast for them, because they'd been dealing with them for generations. So we kind of brought in a couple more people, added the plumbing department, um, iPads, and went paperless, and started incorporating financing. So like the same family-owned vibe and energy and everything, but with some of the more modern day updates for the business, because it was just him, his son, and his wife. So a little bit bigger than what he was then, but still wanted to make sure that we provided the same level of service that his customers were used to, um, with a new family and kind of new ownership and rebranding and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how's the journey been since then?
It's been crazy from day one. As soon as we started, I really just started as a general helper, laborer. My dad and his business partner, Rich, were both the two owners, and I basically left the Marine Corps to start and just help where I could. But immediately after we opened the business, my father was diagnosed with cancer, and
Mm.
so he stepped away from the business within the first couple of weeks. So it was me not knowing how to run a business, and my business partner. Now, who was my dad's business partner then. But my dad was pretty much not around a whole lot, in and out with surgeries and remission and stuff, because he had cancer a couple times. And I actually had a bone marrow issue right when my dad came back into the workforce on remission. He basically took over for me as I had stepped away for about 6 months. And then when I came back, he got sick again and ultimately passed away from then. So we had little snippets of working together, but it really accidentally became me inheriting and learning and kind of becoming what his role was supposed to be on accident, and then becoming business partners and best friends with my business partner now. But that wasn't at all the plan. I thought I was just going to kind of be one of the low men on the totem pole and just kind of do what I had to do. But almost immediately, I kind of had to like run the office, scheduling, ordering parts, just trying to fill the void. I think that's kind of the military brought that in me. Like if you don't have something to do, find something to do. And so I just kept kind of doing something and rolling with it, and here we are. It's been a wild ride, but
What a story. So you found a business that was good and you made it better. You also experienced a tremendous amount of like personal adversities. It sounds like there. So I guess having gone through that whole history, like what do you think the Summers brand represents today?
for us, I think dependability, honesty, integrity, and just really trying to take care of the customer. Pretty much every conversation, everything that we do, that's always kind of the saying. I know it's cliche, but to say take care of the customer for us, that truly means like no matter what's going on, the first question is always, is the customer happy? Is everything okay? Because as long as there's no property damage, bodily harm, or an extremely upset customer, we can fix anything else. Anything can be fixed, anything can be replaced, any part can be ordered. As long as we know that the customer's happy, are we saving them money somehow? Always educating them. Our goals always, and I think most of our reviews from our customers is that they were always professional, kind, always trying to teach them something. Because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, the trades, they're really here for those who don't know how to do things. And our biggest goal is to help people better understand how things work and prevent issues, things like that. And I think as long as the homeowners learn it every time that we're working with them and visiting with them, and they can better understand what we're doing, they get more comfortable with who we are. They start to ask for that specific individual because they know them. I had a customer, I think 2 days ago, telling me how excited he was that one of our guys is getting married because he's seen him from not even having a girlfriend to engagement to now the wedding's coming. So it's not so much, we don't look at it as a business, it's more like a family. And so we kind of just tell customers the same thing. Like if we wanted to be a huge monster company and just go everywhere that the phone calls took us, we could. But instead, we've got our little window of kind of where we work and who we work with. And we know we can respond to everybody very quickly and efficiently and try to treat every home as if it's our own and kind of just go from there. If you always treat it as if the homeowner and their equipment in their home is just as much ours as it is theirs. Just like their furnace is just as much ours as it is theirs. We're going to baby it, take care of it, just like you'd want us to. And, kind of just a lot of give and take and just a lot of mutual respect. And I feel like when you deal with them more as a family member, like we'll text a customer, hey, I've got this elderly woman. She has no heat. As much as we want to come clean your furnace today, would you be okay with moving to tomorrow? They're always okay with it because they know if they were the other person, the roles would, be flipped and it would work the same way. So I think it's just honesty, reliability, and just professionalism. That's always the goal.
Reliability, professionalism, and really treating your customers like family. So you talked about your team and also the reviews. I mean, you have like almost 1,000, I think, Google reviews and a 4.9 rating. So tell us a bit about your team. What makes them great, and how are you able to sort of scale this high level of customer experience across the organization?
Good question. I mean, for us, it's funny because every interview we do and everything that we do, we're always looking for the right fit. Like I always tell everybody in an interview, we can teach you anything. Like anyone can learn the trades. We're never looking for experienced people that come in and got it all figured out because none of us do. We're always learning. The industry's always changing. It doesn't matter what it is. It's not, I mean, it's just always different. So what like technical wise doesn't really matter. It's who you are as a person. Can we relate on a moral, energy? Just we have to click because we're putting you in people's homes. We don't do new construction, we don't do commercial, so we don't get to not necessarily be in front of the homeowner or the customer and go like work in a facility or go work in a framed house. We're always working in a very intimate setting, normally high emotion because something's broke, something's broke for the third time this year, or whatever it may be. They don't have heat, they don't have cooling, they're probably hot and bothered, and it's going to be expensive because it's going to cost money to fix it. So because of all that, we all gather every morning, kind of just have our kind of like in the military, how you'll have like some time where you're all just kind of hanging out and co-mingling, and that's just kind of what try to start every day with that. And we have like some group chats to where throughout the day we'll take pictures of something we're working on and kind of give each other kudos and stuff like that to kind of just we always use the phrase that it's never going to be any better than it is today because it could always be worse. Like no matter we've survived 100% of the bad days, right? So if no matter how bad it seems, it's temporary. We just all kind of operate off that same, we take the good with the bad, but it has to be kind of a mantra between all of us because as soon as somebody's not aligning with that same mentality or you start to get some negativity in
Yeah.
an employee, it's really contagious. So we just try to squash it as soon as we see it. I just complaints without solutions are they're not worth anything to me. Like if you have something that's not good, how do we fix it? If you're just complaining to complain with no way to fix it, then what's the point of complaining about it?
Yeah. I'm curious with your military background, proud military background, have any of those leadership or principles, made its way into the business? And if so, how does that affect the way that you lead the team? And ultimately, what does that mean for your customers?
I mean, I think it definitely has. It took me a while actually when I first got out of the military. My dad and my business partner had to pull me aside one day because I was a little too militant. I remember one time somebody had came in to talk to my dad. So basically, our front office, me, my dad, and Rich all sat in one little office together on just like pop-up tables, essentially.
Mhm.
Because we don't need a fancy office, we go to you. So we're all sitting in there, and somebody had came in, and just the body language of the way he was talking to the owner of the company at the time. I'm just a little helper, but it just really bothered me because I was so used to rank and chain of command and respect and who are you talking to? So after I kind of got out of some of that and leveled out a little bit and got a little more civilianized,
Hmm.
I think it was something where I think the guys understand that like we'll never ask you to do something that we wouldn't do.
Mm.
And for example, if they're cleaning a drain and they've got sewage everywhere and they need a hand and I don't have a body close enough, I'll go hop in my truck and go help them do it. And I think that they know that if it's truly that we're all on the same team and that we're all willing to work together, and that means any of it, none of us are too good to do it. Even our customer service girl up in the front, if we get a delivery and they need help lifting something, she won't call for help. She'll just try to the point where we're like, hey, you don't have to let us do it. But we all just kind of pitch in that way. And I think because we have some veterans that work with us too, we typically try to interview or find homes for veterans because a lot of us are kind of like-minded and there's so much of a brotherhood there.
Hmm.
You don't, at least from the feedback I've got from the guys, you don't always find that in the kind of the civilian sector. So we just try to all essentially just try not to complain, make the most of it, and know that if we don't do it, somebody else will.
Yeah.
And so why not just make the most of the day? Whatever you're doing, just do the best that you can at whatever that task is, however silly it is. If you're cleaning an air conditioner, make it the cleanest air conditioner on the block, because why not? You're already there. You're literally already there. Why not? Why do anything less than your best at any point doing anything? And why complain about a bad day when we know they could be worse because we could have no work at all. Like the phone might not be ringing. I'd rather be busy every day and stressed than bored, so.
So it really sounds like the pursuit of excellence, regardless of how big or small the task is, and really kind of managing your attitude that way. So I think that's a great point. So you guys have been around for a while, and like you said, you wouldn't be around if you weren't doing something great. So what would you say y'all have done differently than other home services companies to really emerge as a leader in the space?
I think we always use the term using a whole home approach.
Mm.
So we always try to use medical analogies to help homeowners kind of understand what we're doing because I think so many people look at everything very black and white when it comes to like things breaking and mechanical. And so we always use the term whole home approach. And there's a difference between working perfectly and catastrophically broken. So we always try to explain to homeowners, hey, if we're in your home, it's really easy for us to just look at the furnace and just fix this one thing and leave. But normally we're looking to see if there's something. I remember years ago, I was walking upstairs and my homeowner and I were trying to figure out where a line set was going or something, but we saw a sag in the drywall. Well, they ended up having a plumbing leak in their drywall, and sure enough, it was about to pop because the drywall was kind of sagging. But he walks by it every day and didn't notice it, and I only noticed it because we were kind of looking at something else. But like always, just looking at everything and trying to not just. It might not even be an issue that we need to solve. You might need an electrician, whatever it may be. Just trying to use the whole home approach and just look at every time that we're with a homeowner, there's always something that we can do to help keep them safe, keep them energy efficient, at least something like if a water heater's leaking, we always use the analogy that's the same as like you went to the doctor because maybe you cut your knee or something, you needed stitches. Well, if he's looking at you and you've got really high cholesterol or something's off the chart, but he doesn't tell you about it because that's not why you went to go see him, well, that doesn't help. We're already there. You might as well. So if we see a water leak or whatever it may be, bring it to their attention and just explain to people that there's levels of conditions of things like your air conditioner. It's not just good or bad. It's not working or not working. There's 100 different increments between brand new out of the box running and won't turn on. So trying to explain to people that things can be degraded, things might not need to be necessarily replaced today, or maybe they do need, and try to navigate some of that conversation. Really just trying to make sure that whatever is the best solution for their current situation, that's always kind of what we're looking for. We're not going to spend your money for you because you don't have to spend any money. You can spend all the money, it doesn't matter as long as it's what you need. As long as we're overcoming some sort of issue you're having, trying to attack what it is that you need, because every home's different. You can't quote anything over the phone. We can't do any of that because every home's different, every situation's different, every priority, what they need's different. And so you just have to kind of dial it in. Everything's custom. Everything we do is custom.
Yeah, so what I heard there is that not just simply like break fix, but a real whole home approach and really diagnosing the underlying issue and what's the most comprehensive solution for the customer to make sure that they're fully serviced. So I think that's great. I know also you've been quite public about philosophically from a business perspective, you are intentional about remaining local while the industry kind of shifts towards like private equity. So why is that important for you to be owned locally?
For me, I just think that it means a lot because, like, I just met with a homeowner right before this, and they live in the same town I do, and it's really exciting to be able to meet people and explain to them, like, not only am I your neighbor, but like we were talking about filters and then buying filters online, and I told them you could probably find the filter that you're going to buy from us on Amazon a little bit cheaper. I'm like, but it means so much more when you spend with us because I've got a 6-year-old in the local first grade, I've got a 15-year-old that goes to the local high school that all goes back to us and we reciprocate right back to our consumers. We've got customers, we've done business with, things like that. And so it's always, we try to, or at least I try to shop, work, and use local. And I kind of just expect the same because there is a place for private equity in big, large companies. And like there are way too many people for us to help. So like we have no issue with that. It's just that the way we operate and how much attention to detail and I guess you could say micromanaging and things that we do, like you can't on that large of a scale because then it's not you and this one specific technician and the relationship they have with this customer or what then maybe they're having a daughter's play at 2 that day, or like we've got a plumber that comes in late 2 days a week because he's got to take his kid to school or something. Like we can adapt a lot more with that when it is just us, our local team, and we have a really low turnover rate because we don't hire people to then later lay them off or something. It's normally if you're gonna, we want this to be the last job you ever have. And in order to do that, it's just a slow approach. We're not looking to explode and, make all this money. It's more so just if we keep taking care of our team and the customers, hopefully that just continues to scale, but never my biggest fear is always getting too big too quickly,
Yeah.
like a private equity. And then you get to the point to where you have all this money at your disposal to kind of use to grow the business, but then you grow so fast that you don't always get the same experience. Like I don't ever want to like run into somebody at Walmart, they see a logo on my shirt and have a bone to pick with me. Like that's just
Yeah.
I couldn't ever stomach knowing that customers might not have good interactions with us. And I feel like if you scale or get too big and you don't necessarily know what's happening on a day to day, then you can kind of lose some of that. You just between the end all product of your person in the person's home and the decision maker, I don't like the idea of having such a big gap that I'm seeing spreadsheets instead of talking face to face, with the individual that works with that customer. Like if a customer calls and asks questions, I want to know the details and be intimately involved so we're all on the same page.
Yeah. So what I hear is that it comes down to quality, really. Quality in terms of delivering it to your customer, maintaining those real personal relationships, as well as quality in how you can manage your own team. You sound to have like a very customer approach in the way that you treat your people. And when you have happy employees, you have happy customers, right? So I think all that makes a
Hmm.
lot of sense. So lots of big changes happening in the home services world, and
Yeah.
as you know, this show is powered by Peakzi, right? So what has been your experience with Peakzi, and what are any kind of outcomes that you've been able to experience as a result of the platform?
Peakzi, I love talking about Peakzi. It's like one of those things where you don't want to talk about it because you almost want it to be a secret because they're so great, but at the same time, like they're great. My hobby is fantasy football, and it's always the same way where I'm like, I don't want to tell my friends about it because I'm still competing. But in all reality, jokes aside, Peakzi's been great because I'd say that they were the first company that I've ever worked with that they legitimately make me feel like every time we meet, every time we talk, they're wanting to help us. Like they are trying to help us. They've already given us ideas of things and like I mean, these aren't things that they're even making money off of. They've told us about programs and company and just to help us. And everything that they do, so much of it's data driven, which is great because you need to, especially if we're going to compete against these big private equity firms, we can't afford to make mistakes where they can because I mean, we don't have the same financial backing. So because of that, they really help kind of dial us in on where we need to focus. And it seems like they're always asking more questions. Even this today, it was completely their idea. I didn't know anything about it. And he's like, would you be interested? I'm like, of course. No idea what I'm signing up for, but why not? That was genuine. That was just them having a discussion with us and, wanting to help. And they've just done that every step of the way. So that it just means so much to me. We've worked with so many other companies that it's almost like you work for them, and that's fine. But it's really nice to feel like you have a companion or a partner that they're in the journey with you together and they want to grow with you, not just collect the money. I mean, it's been really, really great. We've really enjoyed it. And they're on top of scheduling our appointments and our calls with them and stuff. They're just really, really great and super way ahead of the game. I mean, the stuff that they're doing with us and for us, I feel like it's really exciting because it's all like you said, new stuff that's always changing. And so far, they've proved that they're the experts of what they do about stuff that other people aren't even talking about or thinking about. It's really, really cool.
So how would you explain to another home services leader what Peakzi is?
For us, Peakzi is essentially a company that's going out and doing a bunch of dirty work within the internet and within the AI sphere that we would never even know how to do. I didn't even know that it existed. Not, I know that ChatGPT exists and I've heard of people using it, but I didn't know people were replacing search engines with it, like, and so they've taught us so much because they're essentially going out there, they're creating and gathering all this information and kind of doing all this on the AI side that I, as a contractor, I'm assuming most contractors don't know it exists, and it's finding ways to get in touch with some of the Chat GPTs and Geminis and some of this new age internet browsing. It's gathering information to help consumers find contractors, and it's doing a lot of research for you. So it's actually qualifying and making sure you're getting a good lead because everybody's been on Facebook and said, "Hey, I need a dishwasher repairman," and then you see 400 cell phone numbers and people's name, and how do you choose from that? And it's just there's no substance there. But Peaksy's reaching out and actually figuring out who is good based off of all these different algorithms and raw data and they have proof, like this is an actual good reputable company you should call for your issue, and they've pre-qualified it. And that's I always tell homeowners you can get 10 bids on a project and it has nothing to do with the price or the brand of it. It's who'd you call, like if you call 10 not so stellar companies, you're gonna lose regardless of which one you pick. It's not how many bids, it's who are you getting the bids from, and Peaksy helps the consumer and contractor. You kind of weed out all the less than stellar and kind of matchmaker, I guess.
I think those are all really great points, and kind of like what you mentioned, the nature of search is changing. So people are kind of less and less using, the standard search stuff, but now going to the large language models, like you mentioned, ChatGPT and Gemini, et cetera. So what are you doing to be able to be found through those engines of the way that people are searching? So yeah. So before we close out, anything else you'd like to mention about Peakzi, about any other like cool features or anything that you've discovered about it?
I think in general, just how quick we saw results. It was pretty interesting. And I don't know if that's just a lack of others in our area kind of doing the same thing. But most of the time, in my experience, whenever you're doing any sort of marketing or anything like that, where you're always looking at your return of investment and stuff, until most of this AI stuff, it's always led back to Google. So
Mm.
it's always been really difficult to really track stuff, no matter how hard you try. Because, say, for example, somebody sees one of my yard signs or a mailer we sent to somebody's house or one of our vans, they still could have saw that, Googled it, called us, and Google got the credit. And so you never really know how all that worked. But with Peaksy, it's the opposite. They know all the data of everything and where it came from and what makes sense and why and who's searching what. Because I don't know what it's like to be a consumer looking for what we do because I'm just like anybody, I have so many things that I may know that homeowners don't. So having someone actually take the data and using what a consumer would do, I mean, I might, if my AC was broken, I needed to make my own Google search word, I might put like broken AC. And that might not be in the top 50 things that a non-tradesperson would type. They
Mm.
might type something, air conditioner's not working, someone near me. It might be completely different. I don't know. And so they're doing all that for you. So all we do is essentially just learn from them. I feel like we're just constantly learning, and they're showing us our weaknesses and our strengths and where we compare to others and why. It's just mind blowing. I mean, there's more Peaksy has to offer and what we already have that I haven't even learned enough about yet. So.
It sounds like you're getting a lot of value for the platform, and I appreciate you
Yeah,
sharing all
I
that, Adam.
love it.
So, all that's great. Well, we've talked about a lot of things and your track record of success, the impact you're making in the community. So close us out with like, what is your long-term vision for the business? What is the kind of legacy that you want to leave behind for your clients, your customers, your team, the community?
I think my end all be all goal is we really want to be that company that once we've got to work with you, you don't really have to worry anymore, as silly as that sounds. Like we want it to be that we know that if someone's used us with their services, they're going to continue to use us because we don't really want to give them any reason why not to. Unless, of course, like every now and then maybe it just doesn't work out, whatever, that's fine. But for the most part, we want it to be that since we do plumbing, heating, and cooling, if any of those three trades need taken care of, because we have a lot of homeowners who it's a really rewarding feeling to know that when you have customers, we have people just text me the garage code like, hey man, the AC's on the fritz, I'm headed to work, let me know what you find. Like that's a relationship that only comes out of trust, and that trust has to be earned, but it's great for both parties because when you're working with a homeowner who truly trusts and respects you and just takes your advice and it's reciprocated, it just works so well. It's always uncomfortable when you meet somebody who just had a less than stellar experience with another contractor because they're always uptight and they're uncomfortable and they're nervous, and you just you don't want them to ever have to feel that way. Like if we're coming to your home and we're working in your home and it might be dirty laundry day or, kids sick upstairs, whatever it may be, life happens. And we want them to be comfortable to just trust that they're going to be taken care of. We don't want them to think about it anymore. The lady I met earlier today said that they were only able to heat to 65. And I'm like,
Mm.
65 is that's a service call for most customers.
Yeah.
You guys are living like this, but you've got other people they'd be calling right then. And so being able to work with them and just make them not think about it, we can solve all that to where you don't have to worry about that. If it breaks, we'll come fix it and we'll take care of it. It's going to be a good product at a good price. We're going to show up when we say we do. We're going to wear our shoe covers and, respect your property and never leave a mess. And once they start to learn and get used to that, then you almost want them to expect it because we want to do it at the same time every time. Is they'll take care of it. I don't need to worry about them. If you feel like you got to sit down and watch them, then you don't trust them. That means we did something wrong, or we need to earn it.
Yeah. Well, you have a tremendous business. You've got a great track record of success, and we certainly wish you all the continued success as well. So Adam, close us out by sharing your social information. How do our folks connect with you, learn more about the business, connect with you? Tell us all that.
Well, we're at summersphc.com. That's pretty easy. And our phone number and everything's on there. We're on Facebook as Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We're on Google. We've got our Google reviews and stuff like that on there. We don't have all the social medias, like TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff, maybe someday, but that we're still like working in the business. Myself and my business partner just don't have too many hats already, so we're probably not quite. That's maybe 2026. We'll get into some of that and branch out a little bit on the social media, but we're getting there.
All right. Well, we'll make sure to have all the contact information and the social media that you do have in the show notes as well. So, Adam, this has been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. You too.
And that is it for today's episode. And we'll see you next time on the Home Services Success Stories podcast powered by Peakzi, the #1 AI platform for growing your home services business.